Welcome to Doing the Dang Thing podcast. I am your host, Jill Schmeeding, and this podcast is all about helping everyday women play big and aspire for more. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking to you about what it means to be a true friend. And this seems like a very juvenile topic or subject, but I also feel like it's something that we all need to be reminded of. And this is why I love doing this podcast, because certain things in my life that I am working through, I feel like maybe you're going through the same thing. And that is exactly why I'm talking about this particular subject tonight. What is a true friend? Well, I just want to give you a little bit of backstory. We all have our stuff, right? We all are going through things. You could probably think right now 10 things that you're going through in your own particular life. And maybe you have an amazing group, right? Amazing group of friends, family that are supportive, and you feel loved, which I am so happy if that is the case for you. But I also know that's not the case for everyone. And sometimes we meet new people in our lives and we're like, how can I be a good true friend, right? You're starting out a new friendship and you're like, how can I be a good true friend? Well, I had a friend that was going through some things and she was talking back and forth with me and I did not know how to handle it. Like I didn't know what to say. I felt like I was like not giving her good advice or, not being there for her, not saying the right thing. And then I just saw this Instagram post, which, by the way, I love this gentleman, Devin. He posts the best Instagram, just encouraging pictures, right? With words, obviously, pictures with words. And this one came across my feed at just the right time when I was second guessing myself on like, oh, I'm such a terrible friend. I can't give her anything, right? I can't offer any good advice. This is what it said. True friends aren't the ones who make your problems disappear. They're the ones who won't disappear when you're facing problems. True friends aren't the ones who make your problems disappear. They're the ones who won't disappear when you're facing problems. And like I said, it seems very like juvenile or simple, but I think it's a great reminder that being a true friend is not about providing all these amazing answers to all your friends' big problems. It's just about not disappearing, which could be easier said than done. Because I know in my past, in my 20s, I'm in my 40s now, but in my 20s, I had someone who I called a best friend. And when she was going through her darkest moments of her life, I left. I disappeared. I didn't want to face it. I didn't want to face it with her, right? I did not want to be pulled down every time I saw her. And I wasn't as mature in my 20s as I wish I would have been. And so I disappeared. And I regret it to this day. And our friendship is not what it used to be. Of course, everyone grows and we, sometimes we stay friends for life. Sometimes we don't. And sometimes friends are just a season. And I recognize that. But in that moment back in my 20s, I always think about that. Even to this day, I'm like, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to do that again. Just because I have a friend who's going through a tough time, it doesn't mean I can't still be there for them. And I think it's important to just say how you could potentially do that. Because as I've mentioned, some of us have amazing support systems, and I think you are very lucky because not everyone in the world has that. So if you find yourself wanting to be a true friend to someone, or if you find yourself, needing a true friend, here are some ideas of what that may look like, right? You can be super supportive. You can be there for them and just listen. Just provide space for listening. And that goes back to my friend current day. As she's going through her problems, I don't need to give her all the answers. all I need to do is listen and say, you've got this, you're growing. She's growing in leaps and bounds. I'm seeing it with my own eyes, but it's going to be at her own pace, and it's not about me providing all the answers, right? So just be supportive and listen. Be honest. Honesty is always the best policy, which that's a podcast episode for another day, but being honest with your friends about your feelings, and that's an episode for another day. But yes, honesty is very good, but make sure you are very kind. Use a lot of I statements. I feel, when you, would you please, right? Yeah, that one makes me think, but it's still very important. Be respectful. Yeah, respect your friends' opinions, even if you don't agree with them. Respect their boundaries. Oh my God, how many times have you in your life had somebody who disrespects your boundaries or pushes your boundaries, or even worse, destroys your boundaries? Please do not be that type of friend to someone, especially if they're going through a bad season, like a hard season, I mean. Just respect their boundaries. Be forgiving. Everyone makes mistakes. Oh my God, I was just talking about this with someone. Do not judge your friend based off one thing in their life. That's a podcast episode all in and of itself, by the way. Do not judge your friend based off one decision that they've made or one season of their life. They are a whole, complete human being. Just be aware of that and be forgiving, because we all make mistakes. Be yourself. That's the last one. Be yourself. Don't try to be someone else to impress your friends. Be yourself. There's only one of you out there in the world. You are unique. You are amazing. You're listening to this podcast because you want to play big and you want to aspire for more, which makes you an exceptional human being that is brave. And you are bravely moving towards becoming your truest, authentic self. Put that person out there in the world, because the world needs you. Those are my tips. Those are my tips for how to be a true friend, which again, this feels so simple. Like maybe it's a topic that we don't even need to be talking about, but I don't think that's true. And I think there's way more we can unpack with this, but I'm going to leave it at that for this episode. So, to close with Devin's post, because they're so good, just remember this: true friends aren't the ones who make your problems disappear. They're the ones who won't disappear when you're facing problems. I encourage you to go play big in that way with your friends, with your community. I don't think you're going to regret it. Take care, everyone.